All right, welcome to the Please Subscribe show. So on Easter, I'll be making Linda a grilled cheese sandwich. That one's mine, this one's hers. What I'll start with, I'm gonna do this by holding the camera. Butter. We got butter going. And what I'm gonna do, since this gets on the back of the spoon here, use that to dab here. And dab right here. I ran through part of my, well, let's deal with that later. I gotta go see a tax specialist tomorrow. A consultant, you know. Since I'm gonna try another place besides H&R Block. It's Easter right now, so I'm not gonna worry about that. But I do talk to Venus about it. Alright, got that going. Let's get some of the butter on there. And some of the butter right here. And now we're gonna do a little bit more butter. Get the butter going. Now we got the butter going. Okay. Now, we'll let it Easter. Put that in there. All right, Kitty, hang on. Then, she likes ham. I'm going to do a little bit of ham. I know you want to see, but you can still hear my voice, so stay tuned. A little bit of ham. And a little bit of turkey. Ham and turkey. Now, add the bread on the other side. Push that down this way. Make sure Kitty's in there. Kitty's proud. This is how we fight the grilled cheese sandwich. So there's Go ahead and put you down for a minute. Turn it over. There we go. This is the part where I push down on the grilled cheese sandwich. That's my grilled cheese sandwich ready to go into my mouth. This is going to go into Linda's mouth. Golden brown. Gonna go on this plate. She requested steamed cheese. Alright, hang on, hang tight. We'll get everything right. Alright. Let's see what we got. Good to go. Golden brown. Now, for Linda. Well, happy Easter, sweetie. We're rolling. Here we go. And what would you like to drink?
Water.
Water? There you go. Happy Easter. Jesus loves you. And I'll get you some water.
Oh, thank you.
What about tea? You want some tea? Is tea okay?
That's fine.
Do some tea. There is no ice. Or what is it called? There is ice. Oh, they always say there's ice water in hell. I think there's no ice. Well, there is ice in hell, but that's at a lower level of hell. But, I don't know. It's just ice. There's ice everywhere. I think it's just one of those things they say about ice. No ice in hell. La 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 la. I think it's ice. There's Kitty. I think it's just people that get bitter about ice that say that kind of stuff. Okay, be careful, sweetie. It's kind of full. And did you try some of your sandwich?
Yes, yes.
There's the ice water. I mean, I'm sorry, the iced tea. And your sandwich? You want to try a bite? Here, give me a kissy.
Yes, yes.
Try a bite.
I gotta wash my hands. I've been touching my phone.
Okay, we'll set it down.
Where's your sandwich?
It's over this way. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. There's her bite. Thank you. I mean, my bite. Thank you, Lord, for the food. And she's got to wash her hands. And for Easter, we are having grilled cheese sandwiches. Show our weaponry. Grilled cheese sandwiches, which will be going into our mouth. This is how we fight. We fight by showing our honor to the Lord and showing our expression. It's not fighting, it's loving. So we turn the fight into love. Happy Easter and one bite. Thank you, Lord, for the food. She's dipping hers in ketchup. Very good. So if anybody knows me, you know that I was on the set of Pelican Brief. And this basically says Pelican Brief right here. They're showing it for free. Yeah, this right here. That's Denzel Washington, and I'm going back to trying to make a point about acting. So you can kind of see it. I'm trying to do this right here. Pelican Brief, okay. So in this little monologue, she explains how she got the idea for the Pelican Brief. John Grisham wrote the novel. Alan Pakula, who also directed All the President's Men and was nominated for Best Picture for that movie, which was with Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford. Later on in his career, 1992, he started constructing a movie known as The Pelican Brief with Julia Roberts, Denzel Washington, and Sam Shepard, and John Hurt. So in this little segment of her monologue here, she brings three ideas that are all connected to money. One, she talks about Frontline, which is a television show, kind of like 60 Minutes or something, that she had watched a show on Frontline about a lawyer that came up with a similar idea. Her brief is about two dead Supreme Justices that were assassinated. Well, they were assassinated. And so it's about an assassination conspiracy of these two Supreme Court justices.
Denzel Washington plays Gray Grantham.
Okay. Sorry, I got a message. Sorry about that. Anyway, so what ends up happening is from that Frontline episode, she starts getting the idea. She gets inspired to come up with her own ideas, and she learns about the lawyer that came up with a brief that was about a conspiracy. And then he later supposedly killed himself, but they suspected, his parents, the lawyer's parents, suspected foul play because he had once had a depression problem. There's another one right there. She brings up the word medicine, that he was on medicine. That's tied to the pharmaceutical company, which means that's billions upon billions of dollars right there. The first thing was Frontline. It has to do with television. There's money involved in that. The second source of money that she accesses in a little monologue in a couple of words is the words, he was on medicine for a problem. That's pharmaceutical. Then she talks about how he was found dead and goes on. And well, it's not that long of a monologue, but then she says that they suspected foul play. So it goes into part of her Pelican Brief. It's interesting about legal thriller, or I guess you'd call it a legal suspense thriller, but it's so much tied to power, and the characters are very fixated, so they will stare for a long time, or at least for a short period of time intensely. Denzel Washington does it very, very well. And she will get into it. It's like stylized acting. It's not like your All the President's Men, which was with Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman. But she does this thing here where she like licks her lips like 3 times throughout this little moment, almost as if she's thirsty, or if she's like a snake giving out information like a serpent. And the way that she's looking is very distant and detached, as if she's giving information that could get people killed. Because supposedly in the beginning of the monologue, she tells Denzel that everybody that she's told about the Pelican Brief is dead. So Grisham is making a point about gossip, or he's making a point about possible conspiracy, which can go both ways, and how it actually, in this case, kills. Because Sam Shepard's character, which is the professor, he dies. His name is Calloway.
Thomas Callahan.
Shaw, that's her, Darby Shaw. She's almost been killed by an assassin. And then you have the lawyer, Denzel Washington's character, or he's actually an investigative journalist. Sorry, he works for a paper. I always think he's a lawyer, but he's not. He's an investigative journalist. He probably is about to face, possibly being killed as well in it. And it just goes on and on and on. But the actual acting is done in a way where it's very carefully planned and, elongated. I would have changed the acting myself a little bit. I would have made it a little more hyper-real documentary, kind of how All the President's Men was. But it's an important movie. I think it's a possible masterpiece, because Pocola, Alan J. Pocola, he was from Yale School of Drama. He created quite a few masterpieces. And All the President's Men, Dustin Hoffman, Robert Redford, they completely knocked it out of the park on revealing this whole, I guess you could call it legal crime thriller, which was very popular in the 90s. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that about. And Julia did good. This was kind of her early work. This is like 1992. I saw her on set. She does good. But it's not as hyper-real as All the President's Men. It's more stylized, almost operatic. And the way that they are is very strange. Because I've been watching it and watching scenes over and over again. I'm like, this is not exactly like All the President's Men. It slows down. The speech is very simple. It's very operatic, almost to a certain of how their emotion is. You have to watch it. I recommend it. It is 173,895 miles on the speedometer. 64 degrees Fahrenheit, April 7, 2023. And Linda is still resting her thumb. And I am going to get some tacos and then drop food at your doorstep. So more Pelican Brief. Why am I talking about the Pelican Brief? Now, the guy's name's Alan J. Pukala. He's a director. He went to Yale University, drama school. I went to the New School University, drama school, basically. Actor studio drama school. It's interesting that I picked that movie, but he did All the President's Men. I'm gonna get some tacos. Here it is right here. Put this in to the app, you get points. Then if you want to call, you can get like basically a free Supreme croissant. Put this number right here. Anybody can do it. You just call this number. You get buy one get one free. So it's a 1858 number. Just give them all fives. And there's the time of the order. It's military time, so it's 5:03. Date 4/7/2023. This one's easier. I just put it on my app. But don't do it until I do it. You won't get this until tomorrow. So Linda is at that stage, 7 stitches in her thumb, went diagonal, the blade. She was talking to a friend on speakerphone or something like that. And she said she had stubbed her toe on like a trash can and had the knife in her hand at the same time. And then I guess the knife twisted and zippo. So it got her and she's healing up. And it's kind of like at that gookie stage where it's scabbing over. I had like 10 stitches in the sole of my foot, my left foot, when I was kicked off an island in a pond. It's like this little tiny island that had a tree rope. This guy was joking around and kicked me off, and I went into like this one area of the pond, right down like a rock, about shoulder level on the height of the water. I went up to about shoulder level. But the spike was about maybe 5, 6, 7 inches or so. It didn't go all the way through my foot, so it didn't, penetrate all the way through my foot, stigmata style. Didn't do that. But this is when I was like maybe 11. I was about 11 years old or so. But it caused about maybe like 10 stitches, and it was deep. And they had to like dig all the stuff out of my foot and put me in like give me like a little shot of that numbing stuff. And I remember it healing over and getting gooky and itchy because of the stitches. They're made out of this polyethylene or something, polypene. It's like a plastic. It's a real weird name. It's like a plastic material, and it just almost like roots. It brings the skin together, and it's medical suture. I think I remember mine being blue or colors. Hers were blue. And it sticks the skin together, and they pull it and they make it like a knot or something. And as they do it, and the hook is like almost like a crescent shape. It goes through the skin and up, through the skin and up. And I think they make a little knot. They're trained to do this stuff, but it's working. So we were going to go to a private clinic, and then Linda didn't like the fact that they were talking money up front. And I said, no, they have to treat you. She said, no. And I was like, they have to treat you. No. So, okay, we'll go to Harris. That's where we took her whenever she passed out at the roller rink. Because when you're unconscious, you go to Harris. You go to Harris Hospital. It's Texas Harris that you go to. So anyway, we got her to Harris, and then it was a long time. It took about 3 hours for the whole wait. Maybe the wait was more like 2 hours, maybe, but the whole process was, I think, about over 3 hours. Got there at 7, left at 11, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe almost 4. Yeah, almost 4 hours, about 3.5 hours or so, leaving close to around 11. And now she's doing a little bit better. All right, got that out of the way. Now I'm going to transition. Pelican Brief. All right, Pelican Brief. So why is Pelican Brief important today? Well, you know, all the president's men dealt with the Watergate issue. There's 2 words used in the word Pelican Brief in the movie. Iran-gate and Iraq-gate. Or Iran-gate, Iraq-gate. So they're still talking, kind of, or hinting to Watergate, that there's actually conspiracies, people spy on other people's, you know, people try to cover it up. Well, John Grisham kind of got radical with it, you know. He took it to the extremes and made it like, he wrote about these major conspiracies that happened with The Firm when Tom Cruise was, you know, in The Firm, if you've ever seen that. But the Pelican Brief is kind of the entire story revolves around 2 Supreme Justice Court. So it's 2 Supreme Justices. They're judges. So they're 2 Supreme Justice judges, okay, and they are assassinated, and they don't know why. So the character Darby Shaw starts doing this research because she was inspired when she was younger by a Frontline episode that she saw on television. So this is like true to the character, but fiction, overall fiction. Okay, this didn't really happen. This is all, even though people probably think it did, it didn't really happen. It's basically fiction. So she finds out that I guess to get information, she sleeps with this professor who is named Callanway. His first name is can't think of it right now, but anyway, she sleeps with him, and he learns about what's known as the Pelican Brief, which is what she wrote. Darby Shaw, she wrote this thing, and what it does is it becomes very dangerous because it starts to expose these assassins, or this group of people. John Grisham is always writing about a group of people that are conspirators. He writes about heightened conspiracy. It's known as a legal crime suspense thriller. So it's very heightened, very overdone, and very radical, very fiction. So she starts doing all this research and everything, and then she releases this brief, right, which is almost like a very detailed investigated essay or journal on the theories of why these 2 Supreme Justice Court judges, these Supreme Justice judges, are assassinated, and that makes her very dangerous. So she'll tell this person and they're dead, and then she tells another person and they're dead. She tells another person and they die, and everybody's linked to the Pelican Brief starts to die off. Denzel Washington plays a character that's like an investigative journalist for a newspaper. He's kind of bringing it back to all the president's men, because Alan Pukala directed that and was nominated for Best Picture back in the day in the 70s. That was starred Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman. Now, the Pelican Brief was kind of the last big legal crime thriller that dealt with government conspiracy. But then later, Julia Roberts would play another character called Aaron Brockovich, which dealt with a different kind of conspiracy, which we're dealing with even today. So you can say it's all fiction, but there's a lot of truth. It's radical because these private organizations better not exist, but they're like knocking off people. Now, if we go back many years, many years, hundreds of years, going way back into the Catholic Church, this stuff really happened. Think of Martin Luther. Many of Martin Luther's friends were monks, because Martin Luther was part of the Catholic Church before he started the Protestant Revolution, which is a revolution. It's still going on today. It's known as a Reformation. It's called the Protestant Reformation. These monks were burned to death. And this was in Europe. They were burned because of the beliefs that they had that were against the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church was like this private organization that was killing people. Now, I'm not comparing that completely with Pelican Brief, but there's an order in the Catholic Church. And this is also in another game called Assassin's Creed, if you've ever seen that. But it's a very conspiracy theory thing. It goes into fiction. It goes into what's legal crime suspense thriller. Check it out. Julia Roberts, great. Denzel Washington's great in it. He has a Sidney Poitier style performance. Check it out. Sam Shepard's great. He was the Pulitzer Prize winning playwright that's in it. And then John Hurd, who's passed away. Sam Shepard's passed away too. Both of them are in it. Wonderful performance. And I met John Hurd. I met him on the set of Pelican Brief when I was 19 at the Fairmont Hotel. The Fairmount of information.